YouTube, how we doing? Pass the prop back here yet again. We got some basketball for you today, and it starts off March. It is March 2nd. It is, time to start thinking about college basketball if you haven't already. Luckily here, we've been doing it for a couple weeks now and getting ready to get this thing to get rolling. But join as always, Stu. How you doing, man?
Doing good. It was a nice weekend, pretty solid. The only thing is it's cold again now. Like I got a taste of warm weather. I played some basketball outside. It was like 65 degrees. It was perfect, I was enjoying that warm weather, and then I wake up and it's freaking 30 degrees, and apparently we're going to get some snow and freezing rain again. So that's kind of a bummer. I was enjoying the early spring kind of thing that we had here for at least a day or two. But hey, can't complain too much. Solid sports weekend. And like you said, we got March Madness coming up. We got NBA obviously still going strong, and World Baseball Classic stuff as well. So it's a good little sports month we got here going.
Yeah, it's always fun to start kind of getting everybody to start moving their way into college basketball stuff. So excited to talk about it as always. But we can get this thing rolling here a little bit. Obviously, I'll take mine first because, man, Cornell Big Red definitely fucked me up on that one. That was I was talking about how this was a weird schedule spot and they get their rival, and I thought that you come out playing against your rival, they actually locked up on defense, which is the first time I've seen that in years. But then the second day they played the back-to-back, and I'm pretty sure dropped like 60 in the first half on their own. So wrong pick with them in Yale. Hey, shout out to them. They decided they wanted to play defense. You just don't expect to see that too often in a Cornell game. But luckily for us, we had yours, and it helped us stay profitable on the show.
Yeah, man, back-to-back long shots over here. I had Taylor Hendricks yesterday as well as just a straight bet over the weekend. Like I said, I'm not still convinced that Hendricks is that great, but I feel like they got to give him more than because he only did it, I'm trying to see right now, in 24 minutes, and he's just kind of been locked there. I'm I think he's probably better than Omax Prosper, or at least he probably has a higher ceiling than he does at least. So give him some more minutes. But shout out to Hendricks. They literally don't have a center. I mean, they're playing Omax and Hendricks as their center, which is kind of funny as they're both just big wings. But yeah, I love these tanking teams. It's nice to get benefits like this because obviously he's kind of an unknown. He's a young guy, and you get some good numbers on guys like that. So shout out to Taylor Hendricks. Got the job for us done last time out. And yeah, got another long shot for us today. So hoping we can make that 3 straight as we had Reed Shepard before that as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're getting all these dudes to make sure we get everything rolling here and hopefully keep catching some NBA bets. So college basketball 4 and 3.1. Obviously, I don't count the long shots towards the total, but obviously the total keeps going up with some long shot bets. So very weird slate today, Stu. I feel like we're going to be pretty quick through this one. It is a weird slate. 3 games at 220 or under, and then a 240 total with the tanking Utah Jazz against Denver on a back-to-back. So it makes it really tough with a lot of these numbers today, just not only with blowout implications, but also, Wizards are a team not really trying for much. Obviously, some people are out in this Boston game. And Giannis might come back too. So it's I don't know, man. I'm not touching this slate with a 10-foot pole. I feel like that's kind of why you went more towards the long shot route. But anything you want to talk about this slate before we kind of get talking?
Yeah, I mean, right before we went live, we get the Shams notification that it looks like Giannis is back, suiting up today. I just opened up DraftKings. It looks like they have a line for him at 18.5 points. So that's obviously interesting. I don't know how to feel about that, as that's not a Giannis line, which means we're probably getting a minutes restriction pretty heavy right here. So it's interesting. This week we could get both Giannis and Tatum back, not in the same game, obviously, but that would be kind of crazy just for the East as well. So I'm actually interested to watch the Bucks now. I've really rarely watched a Bucks game over the last 3 years, 4 years. I don't enjoy like the teams that they've rolled out these last couple of years, like just from a, entertainment standpoint. But now that they have all these young guards surrounded by Giannis, I'm almost a little more intrigued to kind of see what that looks like. Because obviously Kevin Porter Jr. has been good with the ball in his hands, but how will he be with the ball outside of his hands? The guy doesn't really shoot threes. That's kind of a concern with Giannis on the court. But like Rollins has been really good. I think Cam Thomas is just kind of a spot up, like a guy that can play off that gravity. I mean, he could be a guy that comes in and scores, 10 points in 8 minutes and just subs back off. So it's like they're kind of fun, I feel like. Or maybe fun might be a stretch, but they're getting closer to fun, So I'm curious how that's going to look. And obviously Boston is on the second leg of a back-to-back right now. Jaylen Brown has not played a back-to-back since January, but he's still lined at 28.5 points. And Giannis being back, maybe that encourages you. Maybe you go from more of a, not that the Bucks were a free win, but like a more winnable game to, if Giannis is back, I think maybe Brown's got to play too. So that's going to be interesting. I'm definitely excited to check that game out because like you kind of mentioned, the rest of the slate is pretty shit. I mean, we got the Rockets and the Wizards. Obviously, like you said, Wizards are actively trying to lose games. And if you followed me for a while, like I still, even in all the years of Wizards tanking, I always have a ton of bets on them. But this year, man, like even as someone that watches all their games, it's really, there's no rhyme or reason. There's no predictability. Like it's, unless you're in that locker room, you don't know who's going to play that day. Keontae George, Trey Johnson, both healthy, only playing 20 minutes. Will Riley, I think they just spin a little like cube or whatever to decide what his roles. It's just like really hard to bet them. So that kind of gets eliminated quickly. And then you got I guess Garland is the other story coming back. Garland probably making his debut tonight on a minutes limit for the Clippers against the Warriors. That shouldn't be too bad of a game, but also a little bit unpredictable, right? When you got an unknown minutes limit with a guy that's never played with a team before. I was a little interested in Garland 12.5 points. I was like, that feels a little low still, even if he only plays 25 minutes, just because there's no scoring on that team. It's Kawhi, it's Mathurin, and then that's it. So it's like Garland's probably going to get some shots up when you're playing with Brook Lopez and Nicholas Batum and like Chris Dunn. That's like a good lineup to be aggressive in the scoring department. So, some interesting games. Obviously, Jokic and on a back-to-back against the freaking Jazz. Like, I don't know who's going to be tuning into that game. So, pretty rough slate overall. But hey, Giannis back is definitely a reason enough, in my opinion, to turn on that Boston Celtics game. So yeah, at least we got something, and obviously a big slate tomorrow instead.
Yeah, tomorrow's kind of loaded. College basketball side too, just because it's pretty light slate. We get to start some. Some conference tournaments are starting up today. Horizon League starts up today. Last game of a lot of these mid-major type of spots. Big Sky starts up here too. So I feel like this is just kind of that calm before the storm. Obviously tomorrow, huge slate for NBA as well. So, I'm interested obviously to see Giannis back with this. I like you talk about Cam Thomas just because truly I have no fucking clue what they're going to do with that. But I'm also like, yesterday kind of felt like a walkthrough game almost. I don't know if you saw that they were up in the first half by like 15, lost by 25 to the Bulls. It was weird. Again, we'll never go to a Bucks game as long as Doc Rivers is the coach. I said that since the beginning. I have not gone to a Bucks game in over 3 years in person. I will not do it. Will not support them until he's gone. So I will not do it. Just let Giannis be head coach at this point, for God's sake, or Thanasis. I'm sure he would do a better job at that.
Thanasis will do a live podcast from like the sidelines. Like he'll let viewers choose like when to sub people in and out. That would be innovative. That would be innovative. I'm not sure it'd win many games, but what they're doing currently hasn't been. Although I guess this year, given the Giannis injuries and stuff, has been like respectable enough from Doc. But yeah, still agree with your overall. I mean, you nailed it from the first day he that thing was announced when they fired the other guy and signed him. It's like, this is going to be a shit show, and it 100% has been. So obviously hearts out there for all the, and I'm a Wizards fan, so I can't really be talking, like my team sucks too, so I can't feel too bad for other people, but it sucks. Like we don't have Giannis, like y'all have Giannis. So it kind of hurts a little bit more when you're fucking it up with like a generational guy. Like we're fucking it up with like Raul Neto and Ish Smith for like 5 years. So it's like that's kind of accepted a little bit more.
Yeah, they got one though. Thank God Doc wasn't there for more. For that, that would have made it worse. Him being able to say that, but yeah, Sue, let's kick it over to you. Like I said, probably be a little bit quicker show today, but hey, a win's a win when we can get them. I'll kick it over to you to start us off.
Sounds good. Yeah, I did have a straight bet, but it moved a little bit. I promise I'm not going to only do long shots here on the show, but hey, we've been winning them, so hopefully no one's complaining about that. So this one is a little tricky. We're going to Amen Thompson 3 steals plus 370 on FanDuel. The hard part about like betting on the Wizards, if you go on Twitter and you see like a write-up, like everyone emphasizes how good of a matchup their guy has without also like pointing out that every other guy on the floor also has a great matchup. You know what I mean? Like, yes, Sengun has a great matchup tonight, but so does Reed Shepherd, so does Amen Thompson, and so does Kevin Durant. Although Kevin Durant's a DMV guy, I don't think he'll turn up for this game, to be honest. Unless there's like family in the stadium or some shit, I don't know why Kevin Durant's turning up against the freaking Wizards. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's probably not the guy I'd look to everyone else. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of good matchups here. There's a lot of profitable stuff that I think you could attack. The real question, though, is like, how close can the Wizards keep this game? And like if it is a blowout, can the guys still reach their prop in that kind of situation? What I like about steals is that you can still get there and climb that ladder without like playing your full minutes, because it's obviously a very high variance prop. You see a guy like Thompson go like 4, 3, 1, 1, 0, 4, 3. Like you're going up and down, and you can reach those numbers against a really turnover prone team like Washington. That sucks, right? Because hey, even if you're not playing your 35 minutes would be nice, but I like the upside here. If he only plays, 28 to 30 or something like that. When you look at the blowout games this year with the Rockets too, Thompson does like his minutes aren't bad. But the interesting thing is when you filter by like teams with losing records, like Houston surprisingly plays a lot of those games close. Like looking at like the Kings, like the Jazz is the only recent example of a shit team that they just blew out. And he did get 3 steals in that game, so that was nice to see. But like Kings, Mavericks, a lot of teams like that are in the kind of bottom echelon of the West Coast, still like they play him fairly close, which is interesting because I'm like, I don't know if Washington's going to be able to keep this game very competitive. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being a little pessimistic as a Washington fan. But really, after they beat the Pistons with their tank squad that one game, they've been like, we got to start losing more guys. Like this is unacceptable. So I don't know how competitive this game is going to be, but I watched all the Wizards game. If you watch like Dyson Daniels, he put up 3 and 5 steals. I would say Dyson Daniels is a very comparable player to Thompson in terms of defensive ability, always guarding the other team's best player. He had 3 steals in the first 5 minutes of that last, or I guess 2 steals in the first 5 minutes of that last Washington game, where Washington turned the ball over 7 times in the first 5 minutes of the game. Like Washington couldn't even like get a shot off because they were turning the ball over so much. And it's one because they don't really have a true point guard on this team. I mean, Bub Carrington was always kind of a combo guard, never really the best playmaker. What he was looked at out of Pitt was his kind of pull up jump shooting ability. And he's just not a great passer. Trey Johnson, obviously a shooting guard, not really a playmaker. Like they don't have just pure passers. So when you're running out all these random Sharif Cooper, these random guys that are just essentially combo guards trying to score, when they have to pass the ball, it's pretty brutal. And guess what? Amen Thompson always gets to guard like whoever, is great on the opposing team, which kind of limits your ability to like sag off and work as like a pure like steal artist. But like, who do you have to lock down on Washington? Like, really? Like, there's no one guy that you're like, oh, I can't sag off of this guy. Like, maybe Trey Johnson, I guess, because he'll pull up from 40. But, like, Thompson doesn't have anyone he's going to have to be glued to all game. He should be a little bit more free to kind of roam around and do his own thing in this game. So, Washington, one, just it's a great steal matchup. Probably, I would say, the best in basketball right now. They play at a fast pace. There's going to be transition. There's going to be a lot of opportunities. If Thompson's points line was a little bit lower, I wouldn't hate it. But I honestly like the defensive stuff more than the points because I just think there's a better shot of him getting there in a blowout. When these two teams played earlier this year, Thompson did record 3 steals in the matchup. When you look at his brother, who I would obviously say is the most, funnily enough, comparable player to him in the league, he had 4 steals in their game, despite playing fairly limited minutes. So it's just one of those things where I see the upside, like I see the boom or bust, because I'm sitting there staring at 1.5 going like, do I want this to be an official play? And I still haven't fully made up my mind yet, but I could see him getting hurt by the blowout, like a little bit worse than some of these guys like Reed Shepherd, right? Who they probably let. I know Thompson's young, like I get it, but like, I don't know. I don't see a real reason. Like when you're a playoff team, I don't see a real reason to push your guys against the Wizards, especially when you got a pretty tedious schedule coming up for these next month or so. But I do think like the steals can get there early. Like I see the upside of him like almost like first quarter, like not getting all 3 in the first quarter, but like getting off to a hot start because there's just great matchups all over the place. So I'm a big fan of the Thompson twins. Like I said, I really don't mind his points either. Honestly, as a transition slasher against a team with no rim protection at all, I mean, that's going to be beautiful for him. It's just like it's at 18 points. You're not like getting value. And once again, like Sengun has a great matchup. Shepherd, everyone else does. So I like the steals as a long shot option for my boy Amen Thompson tonight.
Yeah, it's funny enough you brought up Asar because I had him last night in one of my lineups because I only play on Sundays because it's the only day I can actually get to check right before the lineups lock. Yeah. Fuck, dude, he had 3 fouls. This is my favorite. This is obvious. I'll get to the point. He had 3 fouls in 9 minutes in the first half, and I'm like, dude, he's gonna fuck this lineup. Everything else was going crazy. I was going off. I'm like, just don't do this to me, bro. Like, just don't foul again. He gets to play the entire third quarter because he's just crazy. He's only played 9 minutes before that, but he had like 4 blocks in the third quarter alone. And it's just like that type of high octane stuff. Like if he's not getting those calls against him, I mean, he gets to be 30 minutes. We saw what could happen. I mean, that dude literally had like 9 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. It was pretty wild to fill up the stat sheet that way. So we like to see it. We always love to see that, and makes it a little bit easier when these guys are just that bad,
100%. I mean, young teams are who you want to look at for turnovers. I'd say the Pelicans is another great one. The Jazz, like that, they're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. And a guy like Thompson who can just kind of roam around. I mean, yeah, he's got high-end athleticism and sticky hands. So it's a good combination for this kind of stuff. And both of these guys are the only other – I've only given out one official steal prop this year, and it was his brother, Oscar Thompson. So, it's one of those where these guys are the ones that I like to target for these kind of props.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'll be rolling in the Big Sky country for my bet here. We were talking about the Big Sky a little bit here, but I'll be rolling with Montana and Northern Colorado. Big game out in the Big Sky, last game of the season. I think both teams want to end the season on a high note. If you want to look at the first game, I know it's kind of tough to use that one. I'll tell you why. 167 points in that game. There was only 140 until there was, I think, about a minute or 2 minutes left. Ton of fouls at the end of the game, which, when you're in a game like this where this is super important. Obviously, if you want me to dive into it a little bit here, Montana is at Northern Colorado tonight. Northern Colorado is 9-8 in the conference. Montana's 10-7. If you go from the 1 seed down to the 7 seed, they're all within 4 games. So like all bunched up, huge implications because going on the road in this conference sucks. Like there's really no easy way to go to Idaho State. Right. There's really no easy way to, make it out to a lot of these places. So that makes these games really hard to go to, but also elevation on the Northern Colorado side, definitely a big advantage. Also, I think this might be Stu's favorite player in America, even though he doesn't know that many. Just off this guy's name, Montana has a guy averaging 20 points a game named Money Williams. His name is actually Money. That's his actual first name is Money Williams. Great. And dude's a bucket, man. 86% from the line, 40% from three, or 35% from three, 50% from the field. He's a dude. He's actually good. Excuse me. I think this is a spot where when I look at some of these teams, and especially Northern Colorado, I think this is the issue here is Montana shoots threes top 50 in the country. They're 38% on the road this year, which I always look at home road splits. They're actually better on the road, which is super, super important. I mean, 38% would put you in the top 10 in three-point percentage. I'm going to see a lot of those going up here. But Northern Colorado plays fast, right? As always, it's Northern Colorado. They always play fast. They're going to get actually paced up in this spot. Montana is a top 100 team. Northern Colorado just outside the top 100 in terms of pace. But also, Northern Colorado is a team here that just gives up a lot of points from the free throw line, and I just don't like that when you have a guy like Money Williams. Like this dude literally, I think, drew at least 12 fouls in that first game. It's just not fun to deal with when you have a guy who can just consistently get to the line, shoot 85% from the line, and get you points when you don't have the clock running. So there's that. I believe Sawyer, Tejan is how you say his first name. He had 15 and 7 in their first game as well. Good offensive rebounder. Both teams really do a good job defensive rebounding, but with the fouls that have happened in these games, and, you know, not saying they're not good, but they're just not as deep. So when you get those fouls on those big guys, the replacements that are coming in playing defense is fucking horrible. They're guys that should not be out there. And obviously, usually they are not out there. But with these foul troubles on some of these teams, it makes it a little bit tougher. Northern Colorado has a two-guy combo that I like to roll with here, and that's Denker and Wisney. They're two top guys, 19 and 17 a game, two guys that obviously can do whatever they want in this game. Both of them, 35% from three. My thing is with Wisney, there's really nobody on like that on Montana that can guard him. 6'9", 260 senior. Really good player, great rebounder, good offensive rebounder. And I like that he shoots well from the line as well. So 17 and 6 a game. I think he'll put up some numbers tonight. It's just I like these teams that make free throws. I like these teams that this game is that important. So within 2 minutes left in this game, if it's like a 5-point game, which spread's giving me 5.5, if it's around 5 points, I think they're fouling at nauseum at the end of this game to make sure this one flies over. I like the first half over. Northern Colorado is fantastic at home in the first half, but I definitely would lean with the full game, with the fouls, with the importance of this game, and also with the ability for Montana to shoot threes. We've seen it where there's some, 10-minute spells where guys can't make threes. But, sometimes it starts coming back around. You start to see the yin and yang come back, right? It's got to come back to the mean at some point. So don't want to have to roll with, 1 for 10 in the first half. I'll go with 7 for 18 or 7 for 20 in this total game, but obviously it relies on the second half for that one. So like Northern Colorado in this game, if I had to take someone to win, but you got Money Williams on the other side. I ain't going against.
I was going to say, I need to figure out a way to bet on this guy's props. I mean, that's killer. Money Williams is like one of those where it's like you were made to play basketball. Like when you got to say, it reminds me of Blaze Alexander for the Diamondbacks.
Yep,
like, of course you're a speedy outfielder. Like, of course, your name's Blaze. Like, it was written in the stars. So that's awesome. That's a sick name. We need to get this guy some NIL deals. Like, come on. Like, that's draft.
I don't know if Montana's throwing out the bag there too much.
Well,
but
it's just like when, what's his name? DeColdest, the Nebraska guy partnered with, what do you call it? Like some air conditioner, whatever. I'm like, we got to get this guy like a deal with
bank deal
or something. Exactly.
Yeah, bank deal.
Or yeah, if I were DraftKings, I'd reach out at least, But I don't know if that's allowed. It's probably not. But there doesn't seem like there's any rules anymore, so who knows? But man, that's a sick name. I don't know much about these teams, but I'm with it. I like the spot. I liked your analysis. And yeah, like I said, I just want to. If anyone finds spot where I can bet on Money Williams, I'll just take the over. Like I'm in. Why not? Like I don't know. Is Montana making the tournament? Probably not. Like it's probably our last chance.
Yeah, this conference is just – I mean, dude, if you're looking long shots, this would be a conference to bet long shots because they're just all bunched up and, I mean, very, very similar in terms of net rating. So, yeah, let's get a quick recap. And DeColdest Crawford, the cover.
There we go. Yeah, Fred's last name.
we'll get a quick recap in here, guys, and we'll get you on your way.
Sounds good. We got Amen Thompson, my favorite of the Thompson twins, 3+ steals. Well, actually, he'll only be my favorite of the Thompson twins if he gets this tonight. If not, he will be bounced back to second. So I hope he's watching and he realizes that, obviously. But 3 steals plus 370 over on FanDuel. I'd play this down to like plus 300. This is a better price than I thought we'd be getting.
Awesome. And I'll be going to Big Sky Country, Northern Colorado, Montana, over 153 at minus 110. So appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. We'll be back Wednesday. Huge slate on Wednesday for both college basketball and NBA tomorrow. Obviously, going to be a loaded NBA slate as well. So make sure you guys are following Stu. As always, make sure you're following over here as well. We'll make sure we get some plays out for you guys, and we'll get this thing rolling. Hopefully, we'll get this thing cooking right up until March. Keep building up the bankroll until conference tournament season and what is it? Just total March Madness season, I guess.
Also,
maybe even.
I was just say real quick. Did you see the David Montgomery trade? I figured I had to bring it up this morning. Yep. Fucking Houston, they gave up a fucking 4th, a 7th, and a former second round offensive lineman, all for fucking David Montgomery, who's like
don't want to deal with it anymore, bro.
But like,
you don't want to deal with that Joe Mixon.
You could sign Tyler Algier for what, 2 years, 10 mil? And you would keep your draft picks and keep your bummy second round offensive lineman that could maybe be good. Like, I don't know. That's crazy. At first I was like, oh, whatever. I read it was a 5th, and then they corrected it to 4th, 7th, and that dude. I was like, that's crazy, man. I love Monty. Great player, but that O-line is really the problem. I mean, it's not like Monty's going to go back to Lions Monty from a couple of years ago. Like, man, I don't know. That was a crazy trade. Like, it shows you, I think, how out of date some of these teams are. But I was just curious if you had any thoughts on that one real quick.
No, I think it was just a big flip off to Joe Mixon because he was probably fucking with him last year, honestly.
He probably got in like a scuba diving accident or something. We haven't heard from this guy in like a year and a half. I had so many unders on his I just needed him to play one snap all year, and he couldn't do it. So that was a bummer. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, hey, congrats. Now you overpaid like crazy for freaking 30-year-old David Montgomery. Like, when has that ever been a good move in running back world? I don't know. Just that I couldn't believe it. It's so random, But hey, maybe next time, by the time we do a show here, we might get like a fucking Max Crosby trade or something, or Kyler Murray. So it'll be fun to follow that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Wednesday we talk a little bit of NFL, all this offseason news here, because it's gonna be coming up here pretty quick. Franchise tag is tomorrow, I believe, or Wednesday. So we'll be able to talk some more of that. But that means you got to be here. You got to be here live to ask them questions. We'll be back on Wednesday, ready to take them, and hopefully catch a couple tickets on the way there. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck, and we will catch you on Wednesday.